Hello everyone, Jeffro here. Today I wanted to talk about why am I a vegetarian? I get asked this question so many times. Like every time I meet somebody new, we try to eat something and they offer me something, I'll be like, sorry, I'm not gonna eat it. And they instantly give me this strange look, turn their head, and they're just like, why? So here's why. Before I start going on this huge rant, one thing I want to make sure everybody understands is though I choose not to eat meat, doesn't mean I'm going to harass you because you do. I may make jokes, but that's just who I am. There's 5 reasons why I don't eat meat. Number 1, moral reasons. I don't think it's right at all. You're gonna raise an animal and then just slaughter it just so that you can eat it because you think it tastes good. That's pretty jacked up. 2, believe it or not, religious reasons. 3, environmental reasons. 4, health reasons. And 5, sustainability. So let's go into the first part. Moral reasons. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't believe it's right to raise an animal, feed it all this food, just so that you can kill it, eat it, and be like, that was good. Let me go kill another animal just for the sake of saying, it tasted good. It makes no sense to me. Number 2, for the health reasons. I did a little bit of research on this. It turns out being vegetarian, it has a lot more health benefits than doesn't. People a lot of times will ask me the question, oh, what about protein? Worst excuse. Let me ask you this. How do you think animals get their protein? I'm talking herbivores. They eat plants, they eat nuts, things that aren't meat. So to think that we can't get protein because we don't eat meat is a ridiculous mindset. A biscuit there, you got your eggs, you got some nuts, soy-based foods. Beans are great. There's plenty of options there. Number 3, religious reasons. A lot of people come up to me and they're like, well, God put the animals down on earth for humans to eat. Yeah, if we need to. But we don't need to. The same people who say that are sitting there crunching down on lobster or crabs or something else when in the Bible it also says you shouldn't be feasting on crustaceans and you shouldn't be eating animals with hooves such as pigs. But then they'll argue, oh well, that was in the Old Testament. What you're talking about originally, that God put all the animals on the earth for us to eat, was in the Old Testament too. So I don't believe in the entire argument, oh, it was in the Old Testament. Some things did change between Old and New Testament, yes, but not everything. Reason number 4, environmental reasons. So on average, your typical car produces maybe about 2,300 kilograms of CO2 a year. Farms and grazing, they do 2.8 billion metric tons of CO2 per year. That is a huge contributor to global warming. And it's something a lot of people tend to ignore. Because essentially, with global warming and the environment with agriculture and all that, what you're doing is you're taking where there was once forest, cutting down everything that was there, putting up fences, and then putting in this animal that is just going to release gases the entire time it's there. And with the trees no longer there, they're not able to help capture or even stop any of that. So you're basically building an environment that just is like, let's just destroy the planet. For the sake of, this beef is surely good. It's nonsense. Reason number 5, whatever. Because it's unsustainable. On average, a human eats about 5.27 pounds of food a day. In a year, that's about 1,900 to 222 pounds. If you want, you can rough estimate that to 2,000. That's just the average human. A cow, on the other hand, will eat about, now this is on the low end, 8.82 pounds a day, or 3,219 pounds of food a year. In its lifetime, of which is approximately 12 years before they're slaughtered, they're going to eat 38,631 pounds of food, just so that we can slaughter them when they're somewhere between 1,000 and 1,800 pounds. Now, even if you grind up all the bone and got bone meal and everything, use every last bit of that cow, didn't waste a single ounce of it, you're barely getting a percentage. Would you really trade $40 for $2? That's essentially what you're doing. For the amount of crops being used in order to feed the cow, it makes no sense to keep up with feeding cows just so that we can slaughter them, eat them, and waste all that other food. Especially in a place like America where we already throw away 40% of our food as it is. It's ridiculous. In case you're wondering where I got all my information, there's some links below. You can go ahead and look them up. I also have an attachment right here that had all the information on it. You can go ahead and check it out. Basically breaks up the amount of food that we eat in a year, in a day, everything compared to cows. The percentages on there are stating on the low end how much crops is going towards a cow versus humans, low end and high end, and the cow's weight. You can do whatever you want with the information, but this is why I don't eat meat. It makes no sense to me.